I've been drinking coffee since I was 5 years old. Before my dad went to work, back when they had percolators, I'd put the coffee in the percolator for him, and then he'd give me a cup and everything. So I don't know. I've probably drank 40 different coffees or more from 40 or so different countries, and so I've had coffee basically every day. I mean, even when I went out camping in the woods or something, I'd always have coffee as opposed to tea and all that. I've been a coffee nut for years, you know. And I'd heard about Kona Coffee years ago, but a friend of mine bought some property on Hawaii on the Big Island, where Kona is. And I figured while I was there, I would try Kona Coffee. I'd give it a shot. This was about 3 years ago. And I told him that I was going to try Kona Coffee. He's like, oh, that's really expensive, or, you know. And I'm like, no, I really, you know, I want to try Kona Coffee while I'm here. So he said, what you want to do is you want to buy 100% Kona Coffee. A lot of times on the bag it'll say Kona Coffee, but if you look at the fine print, it'll say Kona Coffee Blend, and it'll usually contain like 10% actual Kona coffee. And then the rest will be, who knows, whatever other types of coffee and all that. And so I went out and I bought the 100% Kona Coffee and went back to his place, brewed up a pot, used the clean water. I cleaned out his coffee maker so it tastes a little better. I guess that's a hint. You know, you want to use filtered water. Clean out the coffee maker. And you want to drink it fresh, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So I make the pot of coffee and I drink it. And at that point I realized that was the best frickin' coffee I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, Kona Coffee is the best. I mean, you pay more money for it, definitely, but it is the best, and there's reasons for that. From what I know, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but the basics is the coffee cherries, the beans, are picked when they're at 100% ripeness, whereas in a lot of, you get coffees from other countries, they aren't hand-picked when they're fully ripe. They have machines that harvest them. So you get not fully mature coffee beans or coffee cherries mixed in with the ones that are mature. So the difference is the Kona Coffee is hand-picked when it's mature, and then it's fermented or aged the right amount of time, and then it's roasted at the exact right amount of time. So they take all the steps and care to ensure that it's going to taste the best that it can possibly taste, and it does. You know, it's the best as far as I'm concerned. It's the best coffee I've ever had. It's expensive, but it is the best as far as all the coffees I've ever drank in my years of existence on the planet. Kona is the perfect environment for the coffee plant. The soil is the perfect soil. The volcanic soil lets the roots breathe the right amount of breathing that they need to do to be strong. I don't know if it's the VOG or whatever, the stuff that comes out of Mauna Loa or Mauna Kea, the active volcano mountains there, that adds to the flavor. I don't know if that's another factor or whatnot, but it's the perfect environment. It's hand-picked. It was imported there. And there's different brands, and you can go on a coffee tour. I went on a Greenwell Farms coffee tour, and I had their coffee, and it was pretty good. Actually, it was excellent. It was the best. It was pretty good because it was sitting in the pot. I mean, that's another thing. If you have Kona Coffee, you don't want it to sit in the pot for a long time warm. It'll destroy the flavor. So drink what you can, and then if you're not going to drink it all, the full pot, refrigerate it, and then if you want to drink some later in the day, reheat it, but don't let it sit in the pot all day long. It'll ruin the flavor, even if it is the best coffee that there is, you know, Kona Coffee. The acids change or something like that. So I had Greenwell Farms, and then right now I'm drinking, see, it says 100% Kona Coffee. That's what you want to look for. And this is a Ferrari brand. This is, see, it says 100% Kona Coffee. That's what you want to look for. Haku Percento. 100%. And they actually had one company tried importing coffee and then mixing it with the Kona Coffee blend to save money or make more profit or whatever, and they actually got sued. So it's a really serious deal. So when you're drinking Kona Coffee, you want to look for 100%. If you want to drink real Kona Coffee, I mean, you can drink the blend, but you're not going to get, on the 10% blend, you're not going to get the flavor that you're going to get from the real 100% Kona Coffee. And different brands that I've had are slightly variations, but every one I've had is still the best coffee I've had compared to other coffees I've had from other countries. It is the absolute best coffee that there is. I think if it's from Kona, the brand really doesn't matter. It's going to be good. There's slight variations in the brand, like my wife. She prefers the flavor of one brand to another a little bit, but myself, I like them all. You know, I'm not partial to any one particular brand, and some of that might be due to the beans or the differences in the soil where the plants are raised. And so they have a lot of different techniques. You'd really have to go on a coffee tour and everything to find all that out. All I can say is just don't let it sit in the pot all day long. It's better refrigerate it and then reheat it. And this is excellent. This is 100% Kona Coffee I'm drinking right here from Kona, Hawaii. And if you look on the cup's from Kona, Hawaii too. Yeah. So that's the best bet. If to get it cheaper, you can get it online. You can order from a lot of coffee farms and stuff, and they'll ship it to you. You want to get a large amount, like 4 or 5 pounds or something, because you'll pay about as much for that as you would if you got like 2 pounds. So you're better off just getting a big bunch of it. And then you don't want to freeze it. That'll ruin the flavor or whatever. You want to just keep it at room temperature. You don't want it to get too hot or too cold or whatever to preserve it and whatever. You don't want to freeze it. You don't want to stick it in the refrigerator. That'll ruin the flavor. And then I guess another thing is you want to get the whole beans, of course, like with any coffee, and then you want to grind it like a few days before you're going to drink it or something. But I've Kona Coffee I've ground months before I actually use it, and it's still pretty good. So it is the best. The Kona Coffee is the best. That's my opinion from someone who's drinking tons of coffee for many years, and I'm a coffee nut. Kona Coffee is the best. And another thing I do, since it's expensive, is like if I gotta wake up early for a shoot or I gotta go to work, if I have to go to work early in the morning, like I gotta be out of the house by 5 in the morning or something to get to the location, I won't drink Kona Coffee because usually in a morning like that I'm in a hurry. I'll just drink a cheaper brand of coffee that's good and I'll just slam it down really quick. But if I have some time and I want to watch a sunrise and I want to enjoy my morning and I don't have to work early, Kona Coffee is how I start the day. There's no real words to really describe how good it is. You have to try the 100% Kona coffee and decide for yourself. So there's other coffees from other countries that are good and are close, but from every coffee I've ever drinking, you know, all the hype about Kona coffee is true. 100% Kona coffee, all that hype, all the advertising, all the stuff you hear about Kona coffee, in my opinion, is true. I know for a fact. And I had a good time when I was in Kona. I remember my last day before I flew out of Hawaii. I was on the seawall by the ocean, and I was fishing with my wife, and then there was this girl from Sweden, really good looking girl from Sweden, trying to pick up on me and my wife. I don't want to get into that in detail, but anyways, I'm fishing and I'm like not catching anything on the seawall. There's this road that goes by the seawall that goes to the beach in Kona, and I'm not catching anything. And this homeless guy walked up to me and he says, "Hey, I know how you can catch those fish here. They won't bite on the bait that I was using." So he said, "Try using some bread." So I used the Hawaiian sweet bread and I crumpled it up and I put it on the hook, and sure enough, I got a fish. And the funny thing about it was is the pole was like bending, you know, and I'm trying to get this fish in, but like there's these people in these cars, convertibles and stuff that are along the road where I was fishing, and they're like clapping. They're like, yeah. They're like cheering me on as I'm reeling in this fish. That was totally cool. It was, yeah, my last day was really good. Excellent day in Kona, and I ended up giving him, since I was going to fly out, I didn't want to take the fishing rod with me and everything. I just gave it to him. And I gave him the fish because we didn't have anywhere to cook it at the hotel we were staying at. So that was my last day in Kona. But, yeah, so that was an excellent day. It's freaking good. So if you're a coffee lover, I'd recommend giving Kona coffee a try, definitely. So that's my Kona coffee story.